Good morning, everyone, and to another beautiful day of the Disruptive Innovation Festival. This is the second week, midterm now, only 1.5 weeks left. It's been an exciting journey so far, and today, now, I'm really excited to introduce you to Jaakko Tammela. He's in Brazil, and he is going to talk to you about disruptive mindset and how design can be used as a leadership skill. Jaakko has a background with creative leadership in digital transformation and organizational design. So I think there's a lot of interesting topics coming together, and he'll talk to us about leap and craft, two concepts of mindsets. And we're going to have a little bit of a presentation. Jaakko will introduce himself, and then we're going to bring the conversation forward with all your questions. Please post them on the website on the session page. And now I'm going to hand over to Design Director from Fjord, Jaakko Tammela. Hello, welcome.
Hello, good morning, all. Thank you for this opportunity to talk a little bit about this subject that I've been studying for a while. So I want to show you a bit that's a study that I'm conducting. Have been 2 years more or less, based on what I've been observing about what company needs to be more innovative. Not only company but teams, and also some people, some individuals. So they're looking for different kind of training to be more innovative. But I believe this training that cannot be only focused on skills, meaning just tools they have to involve, but also some attitudes and mindsets. Consequently, they have to develop it to be more innovative. So I want to jump into a presentation that I prepared. I'm gonna be trying to very quickly, so you're gonna have time to discuss later. So I'm sharing my screen now. I hope it works. So okay. So the first question I want to jump in. So why I decided to talk about design? So first of all, because I'm a designer, so it's so that's the choice I have to make to talk about my profession. But also because design had become some very buzzword. So everybody's talking about design. Design just achieved the business magazines, and especially because of the process that we are being used. That's going to be design thinking. And also there is some studies that show that companies that are design-centric, and they being performing much different from the other companies that don't use design so often. So that's a study from S&P. They studied the marketing value from some companies on the past 10 years, and they came with this number that the companies that are design-centric, they usually have the performance 220 times that don't use design so often. And the other thing that is some companies that have been used has some founders or co-founders. They are designers. For example, Airbnb. They have the ramp up on the market much faster than the other startups. So Airbnb today, they have the market valuation from $30 billion, and one of the co-founder of the Airbnb is a designer. And so when I saw all these numbers and see that okay, design is not only because I'm a designer, but also everybody is interested about design and designers. I think that's this could be a good opportunity to understand what does it mean? What does it mean be a designer? What does it mean to design? And so that's my second question. What is design? What design is? And design is I like to draw this this picture to show what design is. Like it's this system. So we have on this cube is represented that we have a solution. Could be any kind of solution. Could be a digital solution. Could be a physical solution. Could be a service or strategy. Also, we have the process. That's going to be those double diamonds, for example, that represent design thinking. And also, we have the people that are going to use a process to achieve expected results. So that's the system that's going to say, oh, so that's design. So the design is someone So we are trying to interact with another people, and also try to achieve a specific goal. So that's a very simple way to define design. But what kind of impacting design is pursuing? Design is pursuing a very simple kind of impact. That's my opinion. So when designers see those kind of face on population, designers try to make the people look like this. So that's so when we develop a new solution, that's something that we are trying to achieve, and that people be more delightful with all the things that we are interacting on day-by-day activities. In other words, I am saying that design try to understand what is the real need from a person, and try to give create some solution that is relevant to them. And but how design creates those impacts? Designers have a way to do everything. Is very empirical, meaning everything that we do, since we are not specialists in anything, just in the process, and we're just, I think I like to say that we are good believers that everything is gonna work in the end. We do everything learning by doing. So the gray line represents more or less schematically what engineering, for example, gonna do. He's gonna have a lot of studying during the time. That's the X. That's the T during the time. And one day come with a prototype, a pilot, or a final solution. And designers, since designers don't know anything, if designer have to build a bridge, for example, designer gonna take a piece of wood and try to connect point A to B, and try to walk in through this piece of wood. If it breaks, okay, I fell on the ground, and I'm gonna test another way to try to make this this bridge works as well. So that's the orange line that represents a little bit this try and error. So this learning by doing, and why discuss design now beside of this became a buzzword. It's on the magazine because we are living this this age. That's the VUCA age. So okay.
Sorry, hey, sorry to interrupt. It's just that it seems the screen share is not working properly. That might be better if we just start again. It worked before, and then it hasn't been showing to the audience for a while.
Oh, do you know where it stopped?
No. It should be stopped now. If we just try again with the right slide.
Okay, just let's see. Now you can see.
I should be fine. I'm going to mute myself again, and please go ahead. We're going to give it another try.
Okay.
Thanks so much for everyone for the patience.
Oh, thank you. Sorry for that. And so what I'm saying that we are living this age now, that's the VUCA age. So we are living that age that's more volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. But I prefer to say that we are living the matrix age, meaning we realize that also we're starting to realize as a society that everything that's surrounding us has been designed from someone else. So when we start to realize that, I think that's the sensation that Neo had when they get inside of the matrix, that everything that surrounds us has been designed from someone. So I'm, as a human being, as a person, can redesign everything. So I can redesign the way you are presenting a talk, for example. I can redesign all the devices. I can redesign the place where I live. I can redesign all the rituals that I have as a society, meaning working, meaning how I build a family. So, and also how I can create a solution and a service. So that's the period that we are living today, and that's why I think design is so important today, because you are looking. You are facing some kind of disruption. So everything that we believe have been working so far. So we believe, for example, that a family, a normal family, have to be of a male, a female, and maybe 2 children. And now we are breaking this kind of concept. So we believe that we have to choose a company to work with this company and work during your whole life and through this company. But now this is changing as well. So disruptions, and exactly when you have a line going exactly as you imagine it, something cut the line, so you lose your ground somehow. And when you start to live this kind of disruption, it needed to find new leaders who can imagine new projects in order to create a new institution. So you are looking to people that are going to be able to create new ideas. So new idea of work, new idea of a service, new idea how to create a new organization that's going to create a new institution, so new way that we're going to interact with each other. So that's why I think we needed this kind of, I say, like creative leaders. So just breaking down what I mean, what I want to mean with creative leaders. Creative is the ability and power to create something. In other words, to bring it into existence. So make an idea real. And also lead is a person that's gonna guide someone to somewhere. So when I connect these two powerful words, creative and leaders, I'm talking a little bit what I believe in that design have been doing for a while. So that's why I decided to study designers, not design itself, but designers. And in order to do that, I started study 2 years ago, and I tried to connect with some colleagues that I have, and also I used to be a professor for a while, and I made a very rough calculation. I think I teach the design for almost 600 students. So based on all the experience that I had working with designers, teaching designers, and then being a designer, I decided to also to talk with some designers. So I made some questions to them about the process, what they think it's important, how they connect it to create a solution, what's a good solution or not. So what's random questions, and they give me some answers, and I received 127 answers from designers from 20 different nationalities. So I have some people from Brazil, some Italy, some South Africa, India, China, and also from 100 different kind of organizations. From Google, for example, Microsoft, and also some designers that are very author, meaning they are doing their own working, they are their own client. So I try to understand all kind of design that we have, from digital, from physical, from fashion, and what you are thinking. And that's a study that's online. If you are interested, you can go. It's one designer a day. So you can go to this website. I'm gonna see all the raw material. So I spoke with John Maeda. He was one of the speakers. He's one of the speakers on this festival as well. So I spoke with different designers to understand what they are thinking. And in order to make an analysis about that, I started to put it in a software of cloud wording. And as you can see, some words pop out like solutions, idea, will, can, way, impact, and create. And also, I start to make some exercise. When I look at it being height of this world, I saw a lot of designers in designer words, and so I cut out, I excluded those words to see if it changed, and also changed, so people came a much more important word as well, and so I decided also to take it out of the word can and will, because sometime I saw when I was reading the text, they are using this more to construct some sentence than the word itself, and the people became the most important words. So that's what the first thing that I did. So it came some words like people, can, make, create, impact. So it's almost a sentence, but it's not. So that's some random words that came out of this analysis. So, and after that, I decided to use Watson from IBM, and I copy and paste all the tests, all the answers they gave me, and I put as a whole text. And the first sentiment, the most important sentiment that came with this kind of analysis that Watson made is positive. And I break down to understand what about the emotions. And came joy, and I like that came anger, because I believe anger means that we are not satisfied the way the thing is going on, so we are willing to change that. And I want to show in the next slide that's how we connected with this kind of assumption that I made. And as you can see, we have like positive impact in people, and people is all the time is coming as a word that designers are using all the in all the answers that they provide me. So that's some word that came with that's part of the analysis: positive, impact, joy, best, way, and world as a whole. And also I made this analysis about the tone voice, and with Watson as well. And as you can see, I highlighted some conclusions about the idea of always trying, we are always trying to do something. So we have a sentence like saying, be a doer, don't overthinking. So that's connected what I told about the learning by doing. And also we have this kind of confidence that everything that in the end gonna work. So you needed to rethink the meaning. That's amazing to experience and see and all the thing intensively. So you're very passionate about what you do as a designer, and also the joy that I mentioned a little bit before. That and it's amazing to experience it, connected. That everything that you experience is interesting and nice, and that how we can go intensive to this to try to redesign that everything that's surrounding us. So somewhere that pop up is simplicity, possibilities, empathy, confidence, and faith. That the faith that in the end everything gonna work in somehow. And the last one analysis that I did is about personality, and that's the one that's very interesting. That's a personality that Watson came up with the answers. That's the idea of openness, also the main this curiosity, liberty, and self-expression and challenges. So how designers is challenge the status quo, how designers challenge itself all the time. It came as a personality, as attitudinal insight. So that's some word that I like to highlight: challenge, openness, curiosity, liberty, and helping others and helping themselves. And based on that, and also all the material that I read, so I created those analyses, and I realized that one thing that's very strong on as a designer is this capacity to leap the thinking. So what I try to say here is that since think we want to recreate and want to create some kind of disruption in what we are saying in order to be able to recreate everything that surrounds us, because you believe that you can do better things. You have to have this capacity to jump our thinking from the present and go further from the future and use it, imagination. And that's some word that I want to highlight that is inside of this leaping thing. That is the idea of lucidity, meaning how in everything that is going on today, I have this lucidity to understand what is really matters, what doesn't really matter. When I have this clarity and lucidity to see things, I'm gonna be able to create my vision, to envision something in the future. That's something that a leader have to do as well. If I have a vision and I'm gonna be able to sell and communicate this vision to people, I'm gonna be able to guide people to some place. And also I have to have agility. So I have to be agile in order to try to make this vision easy to other people to understand as well. And another thing that I realized that the designers talk a lot about sensations, about feeling, and I like to say this about perceptions. And so that's something that we are facing, changing today. We are trying to create less with only our mind, but also with our heart as well. Only thinking about the future and only try to jump in the present to the future is not going to be enough as a designer. So that's the other mindset that I realized, that I call it crafty thinking. So the designers very focused about the realization and how I make it everything tangible. But the designer don't do the things only by themselves. Even the designers that are working by themselves, they are working with connected with with suppliers, with people that are helping them to achieve it and to create, for example, their furniture, as an example. So the sense of community, so that working together is very present in the way that you are working as design. And also this idea of being responsible, responsiveness, meaning how I realize that my idea is not working, and I can be and I can change my idea very quickly, but I'm not losing what I envisioned before. That's a little about the learning by doing, the try and error, for example, and also the idea of autonomy. Okay, I work very well as a community, but if I want to create a vision, sometimes it's gonna be easier if I feel empowered myself to create this vision and make it a little bit tangible. Could be a rough idea, could be a prototype, for example, and I can show to the people, so it's gonna be more connected with this idea. So I have to be autonomous. So how? And I have to be focused. So I have to be focused to understand what I want to achieve. So what's the need that I want to fulfill? So what's the dream I want to make it real? And that's why time is so essential in that, because if I spend too much time in overthinking, I'm gonna lose the time. So that's more or less what I realized when I start to talk with designers globally and try to understand this design. That's the main mindset that that came out from this behavior. That's what I call this creativity, the skills for disruption. So I've been training and I've been hiring people based on these skills so helping companies to develop their own design skill sets, their own design teams, and become more design driven. And that's something that I've been using. I've been 1 year and a half more or less, and I help it. Oh, actually 2 years, 2 years and a half. I've been using this kind of and testing this kind of methodology, and how I can be training, developing people in this attitudinal skill sets. And just to show how it's working the day by day, I decided not to show a study case, but also I think it's a case maybe everybody is aware about this. It's a caved rock from 1,000 years ago that some cave men used to hunt animal, and this person. They realized that they need a better tool to hunting or to protect itself about on the surroundings, and so we can imagine 1,000 years ago this person saw a rock and realized if he can shape the rock and make it very sharp and put in a spear in the top of a piece of wood, it's gonna become some kind of spear, and so you're gonna be able to hunt the animal. This person that have this idea, this person was a designer, because this person understood that's what a real need, and so they try and narrow. I imagine they try and narrow a lot of stones before they came with this design solution. And this person was not a designer. This person is a normal person. That's why I want to finish this idea of the presentation saying that, in fact, everybody that is a designer at some level. So because we have this power to dream. We have this power also to make our dreams come true, and that's something that I wanted to achieve with this kind of study. Imagine, like, in 5 years ahead, that's something that I'm trying to pursue. I'm pursuing that. How I'm gonna be able to make design much more easier and simple, that I'm gonna be able to teach everybody to have this kind of attitude now. So sorry, this kind of attitudes, and this kind of mindset. If everybody have this kind of attitude and mindset, I believe that you're gonna be able to really rethink everything that surrounds us, and really be able to make the world much more connected with the people needs, and much more flexible in terms of solution, and much more better in the world. So that was the idea that I want to share with you. I will come back to my face. so we can have some discussions about it. And I have some questions.
Hi, Jaakko.
Yeah. Okay.
All back. That's great. Thanks very much for this. I thought it was quite some useful insights to, for me to relate to how design, what it means for me in my day-to-day life. So basically, if we consider ourselves at all as designers, somehow to some extent, I thought, especially the example with the stone that you gave in the last bit was quite interesting. We did miss a few slides in the beginning, so maybe just a couple of questions now for the Q&A to get the conversation started. But then if you do have some more examples from the beginning that you would just like to repeat, please just feel free to show them. Else, yeah, I'm going to just dive in. So we have a question from the audience to say, how can we make sure that there is more of an interlink between community, because you mentioned community as the craft, the craft mindset or the craft concept, and how can you create that interlink between the community and designers for, you know, everyone to realize that they are designers and that they can take some certain responsibility towards design?
So that's something that I've been trying, and I'm gonna use the example for a client that I was making consultants for them. It's a client, so they during a workshop, this person was stuck in to have some ideas during the workshop, and all the idea that she was providing was very superficial, and what she was tense about that, because she was saying that, okay, that's not a good idea, so how can I make this idea go further, for example. And she gave him one idea. She thought, that's going to be cool. For example, if I have a smartphone, for example, when I take a selfie for myself, instead of take a selfie, I'm going to take a picture from you. And once she was talking about that, I had some prototypes too. One of them is called Mesh. I started to use Mesh with iPad, and once she finished the sentence, I gave her iPad and said, "That's what I'm talking. Just press the camera button and see what's gonna happen." So she tried to take a selfie for herself, and she pressed the camera button, and she received a picture from myself, because I was in front of the iPad. And she saw that, she saw the power. So, okay, I had a very dumb idea, but like in 1 minute, my dumb idea became a reality. When I saw her face, and she became a bit more wide in her idea. So I realized that it's possible to dream and to create. He unleashed herself about the idea, so he became a bit more creative. So I think that's one thing that when I make people realize that they have this capacity to dream, and because sometimes we are afraid to dream because that's something too far from us. And so we don't like to have too much dreams, because we don't like the deception of not realizing this dream. So if you start to show the people that a lot of the dreams that you have is easy to realize, to implement somehow, and also deception is part of the creative process, and to make people understand these two sides, I think that's the way you connect with the community, and the community itself gonna say, okay, if I know that deception is a part of the process, and it's easy to make my dreams come true, okay, somehow I'm a designer. Because now, at least on the creative side, I'm gonna be able to dream more, to be more creative. That's something that I've been using during some workshops and some clients, and they've been working because somehow you cut this kind of strings they have, because they. In the end, so sorry, I wanna add also, because once I was lecturing, an audience asked me, okay, Jaakko, so can you give me a tool that's gonna help me to be more, to be a designer, to be more innovative? I say yes, there is a tool that I'm gonna suggest to you. go to a shrink, to go to a psychologist, because when you start to understand yourself, your emotional ground, how your emotional connected to yourself, to your fears, and when you understand about how you're gonna be. Your deceptions, what you're afraid of, what you're angry about. When you take this kind of feelings and connect to the creative path and make it something creative and constructive, it's somehow you're gonna start to become a designer, and somehow you're gonna be more innovative.
Wow. Okay. I like that answer. That was covering pretty much everything in terms of questions I had as well, in terms of how, not just the interlink, but getting it across, getting that message across to a whole bunch of other people, not just maybe your clients, but maybe the audience, maybe something to think about for the rest of today. I'll kind of, unless you still wanted to go back to some other points that you had in the beginning, I would kind of start wrapping up, but there's one big question I still have for you. So basically, the way I understood another audience question is to say that people design good things, but they also have bad things that they design, right? It's a bit challenging because we have microplastics, we have toys from McDonald's, we have badly designed food maybe, or all sorts of landmines, all sorts of things that aren't really designed well. Is there a way for you to imagine that the concept you're having now and the work you're doing now, can you envision what that could lead us to, what positive impact that could lead us to in the next, say, 10 years?
That's something that also started because one day I was in a store, and it's a popular market here in São Paulo, and I saw it's a wall with a lot of headphones, and actually it was a copy from headphones, but it's a wall of plastic. And I say, why we need this kind of wall of plastic? So why we still producing as a designer, as a person, people, this kind of product and sorry, without thinking. So I realized the first hypothesis that I say, okay, maybe the people are not thinking what they are doing, but I changed this hypothesis a little bit, and I say that what I see today, that not that you are not thinking, but not you are feeling what we are producing. So somehow, as a designer, as a creative, as a people, we disconnect about what really matters to us and what really matters to others. So we disconnect. I like to say that we disconnect our innovation heart. So because I really understand what makes sense to me, and also makes sense to others, I'm gonna make something that's gonna be more relevant and more interesting. And because when I start to question about the relevance, I'm gonna start to question about why do I need so many plastic toys from McDonald's, for example? Why do I need so much headphones from this company, for example? Why do I need all this kind of thing? And I'm gonna start to question everything. I'm gonna start to question, why do I need to work 8 hours per day? Why do I need to work 40 hours per week? Why do I need to wake up so early in the morning to go to stay stuck in that traffic jam to go to my work? So when you start to look into yourself about what's going to be relevant for you, and also to connect to the other, going to be relevant to the other. So I like to say it's 8-to-8 connection, heart-to-heart connection to innovate. So we're gonna start to question that everything that's around us in a more meaningful way. So I think that's something that I like to say that's something, as I say, that's we have this kind of mindset to innovate. And that's about the skills, because today I think we are a little stuck about the process and the skills, and forgot why you are doing things, but not only in my mind but in heart. So I'm going to start to question about this kind of solution, because why I needed to have it to wrap up a food in like different packages, so to just throw away to different packages, just to be quick. Why I need to be so fast? So I'm gonna question everything. So I think that's gonna be the pill that you're gonna have to drink to enter the matrix. So, but our matrix today is to connect our hearts with the other hearts. That's the matrix that we needed to to go deep in, so to understand and to do things that with more meaning.
I love it. I love how you bring it to the matrix, because that's a big word for the end of where design can take us, or a new mindset in design. Jaakko, I found this really interesting. I think there is a lot more scope to discuss this topic in the next coming weeks. We do have a couple of other design-focused topics on the DIF schedule coming up, so please also keep in mind that you can get engaged on that. Please, to the audience, stay in touch on the website. Jaakko's video will still be here after for the next weeks, and we appreciate any more feedbacks, interests, questions. I take away from today, and I found it quite powerful to think that personality insights, tone, and how designers challenge their views can actually change a little bit, make a positive impact for the future. And with that, thanks to Jaakko. Thanks very much for the early start. We appreciate that. It was a good morning session with a coffee, hopefully. And I'm looking forward to speak more this year, next year, whenever, really. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to everyone at home. And with that, I'm saying goodbye. Bye-bye.